And here with you today in this conference from the Hair Wire, we have a special guest, and we want to introduce to you Dr. Andrea. Dr. Andrea, welcome to the Hair Wire, and I want you to introduce yourself to our audience. Tell us what do you do and what gift you are giving us in this world.
Oh, thank you so much. I am Dr. Andrea Echeverry. I was trained originally as a scientist in microbiology and immunology, and over the last 12 years I have been working with scalp issues, especially with men.
Okay.
The last few years I've been integrating scalp microbiome health techniques to be able to help people regrow their hair. And I also integrated with tattooing, which is a very sophisticated form of tattooing called scalp micropigmentation.
Awesome.
So, yes,
Awesome. Well, you are in your right alley with me right now
I believe
because
so.
I am a big fan of microbiome, and I started balancing my own microbiome to begin with, so it comes out to balancing the microbiome of my scalp too.
Yes.
And I am a big fan of scalp micropigmentation. I started doing it a long time ago. So
Oh, that's fantastic!
yeah, so like
We're one of the few women then, which in fact I have been following you for a long
Thank
time,
you.
but we have never met in person.
Thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you so much. And like I can actually tell your passion from your voice when you're talking about balancing microbiome. Like people maybe sometimes don't underestimate how imbalances in our body, even like the bacteria, the bad bacteria, when they overcome the good bacteria, like your team will lose.
Yes,
and
exactly.
then when you have imbalances in the scalp, it's going to affect the hair loss.
Yes.
And on top of it, Dr. Andrea uses the scalp micropigmentation to make us look to fuller head, like make the hair looks full, to give us kind of, and the men especially because you
Yes.
work with men, the peace of mind that they can go outside without the emotional stress on themselves because they have this full head of hair, right?
That's exactly
And
right.
during this time, you balance the microbiome of
That,
the
yes,
scalp
in order to
itself.
be able to have long-term
Excellent.
effects and results.
And can you just walk us through quickly, like how do you do that? What the steps you take?
Of course. So one of the major issues that I find with, especially with men, and those who like to lift weights and exercise,
Yeah.
is that they tend to overgroom themselves. So we always want to find the right kind of product for them to be able to wash their hair, whether it's a hair wash. I don't normally use shampoos anymore. I am focusing more on products that have been developed for facial cleansing, which I believe are gentle enough for a lot of men to use. And once we actually do that and we're using the right pH balance products on the scalp, again, what's going to happen is that the surface of the scalp is going to become more calm, it can thicken out, and with that, the hair follicle has the room that it needs to be able to grow. So we don't really have to do a lot of maneuvers, especially for males. The person has chronic eczema-like issues, then it may be needed to add other products to the protocol. So I use some brands that have developed products with some prebiotic and postbiotic ingredients in them to be able to rebalance what was supposed to be there from the beginning.
Excellent. Wow, this is just amazing. And I want to say thank you that you're taking care of men because we always take care of women. Like when it comes to hair, I don't know why half of the industry or more than half of the industry is talking about women hair loss, and we rarely actually point out that men hair loss actually is as traumatic and
That's
as
right.
emotional as women hair loss, but men are machos. They say, I will just like go through it and don't say stuff because
That's
they
right.
think it is not good, not masculine enough to say it. So I want to thank you for doing that. You're giving the men like more attention.
We need to empower them as
Thank
well,
you.
because part of the problem is that if they don't have already somebody in their lives to help them be able to express some
I
of these
love it.
needs and the fears that they have,
I love it.
then when they find a cosmetic solution like scalp micropigmentation, but I introduce them to the fact that we can still reverse the problems that they're having and regrow potentially their hair, they become so ecstatic and they can actually move on with life. Then they can start a relationship and start the right job. A lot of people get stuck because of the hair loss, then nothing else happens in their life. So this is super important to build the next generation of men the way that it should be.
And also, like, I feel men, they are careless about products. When it comes to products, they will just grab any shampoo from wherever and maybe use dish soap sometimes. Where they are not as meticulous as
That's
we
right.
are when it comes to
There's more
hair.
marketing now geared
Yeah.
towards men, which can be also very problematic because a lot of men don't want complicated
Right.
routines.
Right.
And that's actually my expertise, is to actually have a very minimalistic type of protocol where the person can use one or two products for different purposes, where we can have something to moisturize if we need to, and also use it as a hair gel, something like this.
Yes.
So those are some of the techniques that I use.
Wow. So how people can find you? Tell us.
I am on all social media platforms as Dr. Andrea Echeverry. Last name is spelled Echeverry. I have a business called Hair Pigment Center. I'm not as active on social media with those platforms, but you can also find it if it's easier. And my website with my full name is actually where I focus on my current niche, which is scar camouflaging.
Oh, I love that.
So yeah, if anybody needs that kind of service, I can be found there.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Andrea, for giving
It's
us
my
the time
pleasure, of
to
course.
just take a little bit of
I'm
time
glad to
from
do
you.
it.
And we are looking forward to have you in full episode on the Hair Wire.
Thank you.
Stay tuned, people, here at the Hair Wire.